Hey, welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. Thinking about the future. You know, there's a lot of people, and I'm kind of one of them, who thinks that life as we know it could significantly change in the next 2 years, right? It just looks like things are stacking up that way. And maybe I'll do a video on that someday, but, whatever. Right? That's why you watch videos like this. And so there's that, and I get people saying, I saw on a website I go to, should my husband invest in his 401k at work? And I told you in an earlier video that I had cashed in my 401k at work and built an off-grid house, right? And so things like that. What if you have kids? What do you tell your kids? All kids want a future, right? Or if you tell your kids, your 7 and 8 year old or your 13-year-old, the world's going to end in 2 years, what are you doing to their psyche, right? And so, prepare for the worst, hope for the best, kind of thing. You also have to prepare for the best. And so on things like 401ks, hey, if they're matching, that's free money. I say go for it. You see these trees back here? Let me check you out these trees. These are fruit trees. We planted these trees 10 years ago, and they were just little sprouts. These are like cherry trees, apples and pears, and they were just those little whips you get at like, Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever that you stick in the ground, and now they're huge, right? They're great. Last fall, they just bore abundantly. Thinking of the future, right? 20 years from now, they'll still probably be here and be bearing fruit. Something to think about when you're planting your trees, though, is don't plant them too close together. These branches are starting to touch now. I'll give you this angle right here. And, like I said, when we bought them, they were just those little whips that you get for like, I don't know, $13 or something like that. When we bought them, maybe they're 20 now. But yeah, so you got to think about the future, and you got to think that, you could be wrong about the world ending or that the world changes significantly. You just never know. And so you can't bet your whole, really, if you knew, and I tried to do this in another video, if you knew that martial law was going to be declared in America on the 13th, 15th of July, or whatever, sometime in there, wouldn't you do things differently than you're doing right now? I would hope so. What the heck would you be doing watching this video and commenting on it, if you really thought it was coming? You got to get busy. And so I think you have to have moderation, right? You got to take time to smell the roses, to plant the trees that aren't going to be doing you any good for, the next 5 years or so. Think long term, because, right now you could be 30 and you could end up like me and, with grandchildren. And if you spent your whole time, buying ammo and guns and hiding in your basement thinking the end is nigh, and it wasn't, you kind of wasted your life. And so you got to live your life. And so, yeah, 401k, if your employer's matching, I say go for it. It's free money. If you have a 401k like I did, I'm retired and it's just kind of sitting there. I wasn't paying into it anymore. Okay, well, I told you what I did, right? So choices we all make. What are you going to do? Do your best, right? And be prepared for this thing to go much longer than you thought it was. And be prepared for the end not to be like you thought it was going to be also. It might not be catastrophic. It could be a long, slow slide, in which case having an orchard and gardens and things like that would be very beneficial. And so sometimes you got to take a long view. It's a balancing act. Do your best. Try to use some discernment. I'll see you out there.